Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update for Tuesday, July 14th. This stimulus update is for those of you that are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or VA benefits and haven't received your first stimulus check. This update is also for those of you that are wondering about the second stimulus check and what's the latest information we have on the second stimulus check. If you're wondering about the second stimulus check, I have some good news and I have some bad news. I will talk about the second stimulus check later on in the video. For those of you that still haven't received your first stimulus check, those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits, for those of you that haven't received your first stimulus check and will be getting your stimulus check by direct deposit or on a direct express card, tomorrow is the next round of direct deposits by the IRS. Wednesdays usually are the date that the IRS sends direct deposits. So make sure you're checking your account tomorrow to see if you get a direct deposit. If you don't have a payment date yet, continue checking the Get My Payment tool. And if you can't get into the Get My Payment tool and get the error message, your information does not match our records, that usually means that your address does not match what the IRS has on file for you. There's a few things you can try. First off, try using an old address that you may have used in the past. And if you have a representative payee, make sure you're using your representative payee's address on the Get My Payment tool. In addition to that, you can also try using the USPS zip code lookup tool to format your address as the IRS is expecting it to be formatted. And I will leave a link to that in the description below. If you can get into the Get My Payment tool, but you don't have a date, or it says payment status not available, that usually means that the IRS is still processing your payment and they just don't have a date for you yet. It can also mean that you are not eligible, meaning you were claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes, or for another reason you may not be eligible. You can call the IRS at 1-800-919-9835 and just expect to be on hold for a long time. Or if you just get an automated message that keeps repeating itself, you'll need to call back and try again. I've had a lot of people that have been really persistent calling the IRS and finally got a representative that could help them out. And they were able to get their payment issue resolved or actually receive a payment date. So if you still haven't received your first stimulus payment, you can try calling the IRS if you have some time that you can set aside to do so. If you are someone that has not received your first stimulus payment and you don't have a payment date on the Get My Payment tool and you are not required to file taxes and do not file taxes, then you can use the non-filers tool to enter your information so that the IRS has your latest information. The non-filers tool can be used by those on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or VA benefits as long as you weren't claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes and as long as you weren't required to file taxes and didn't file taxes in 2018 and 2019. If you did file taxes, or if you've already received your first stimulus payment, or if you have a payment date in the Get My Payment tool, then please don't use the non-filers tool. You do not need to. For those of you wondering about the second stimulus check, do not call the IRS. They cannot field calls regarding the second stimulus check. There is no second stimulus check that is finalized at this point, and so the IRS cannot answer any questions for you. However, let's talk about the second stimulus check now. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said on Monday that they will be discussing the next stimulus package next week when Congress is back in session. This is what we've kind of expected all along, but it was good to hear from him that they are going to be discussing the next stimulus package next week. The Senate wants liability protection for doctors, nurses, hospitals, businesses, and schools, as well as other institutions, so that they cannot be sued if somebody contracts coronavirus. We're sending people back to school, sending kids back to school, or people are being treated in hospitals or attending businesses. They want to be able to protect those entities from being sued if for some reason that person contracted coronavirus. He also talked about how the next stimulus package will focus on kids, jobs, and healthcare. Those are going to be the three main focuses of the next stimulus package. Mitch McConnell also said that he expects the next stimulus package, which hopefully will include second stimulus check for individuals, by the August recess. That's on August 7th. So that is good news that Mitch McConnell is saying that they want something to be passed before the next recess in August. White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow also was talking to Fox Business yesterday about the next stimulus package. He has kind of been the good news, bad news guy, and yesterday was no exception. The good news from Larry Kudlow is he's saying that there will be another stimulus package that is passed. He talked about a back to work bonus for those that have lost their jobs and will be going back to work to receive some sort of bonus. He also talked about a payroll tax cut, how those that are continuing to work could receive a tax cut so that they're not paying nearly as much in taxes as they're working, because there are a lot of people that even though they're working are still struggling because of cuts in hours and other reasons why they might be struggling right now. A payroll tax cut would put more money into the pockets of those that are working and in turn would hopefully stimulate the economy as well. And now for the not so good news from Larry Kudlow. He did suggest that the next stimulus payments may be targeted at individuals that are lower income and as well as those that lost their jobs. While this isn't terrible news, it could mean that the stimulus package could be more focused on those with lower incomes, and it could be that some are left out of the second stimulus package even though they received the first stimulus check. He also talked about the potential that this stimulus payment, the second stimulus payment, could be less than the $1,200 that was initially paid out. I don't think that's a very popular take right now, and I'm not sure that Larry Kudlow is going to win that battle. Even President Trump himself has recently been saying that he wants more stimulus, and he wants stimulus possibly more than the Democrats are asking for, and that could be that Trump wants even more than $1,200 that was given out the first time. So it sounds like Larry Kudlow's kind of off on his own, asking for less stimulus than there was in the previous stimulus checks. President Trump has reiterated multiple times over the past few weeks that the next stimulus package will include a stimulus payment to individuals. A second stimulus check would be probably $1,200, but potentially more if President Trump gets his way. President Trump knows that there are still millions of people that are struggling and that this pandemic has really influenced a lot of people's spending habits and has actually cut down on a lot of people's incomes and hurt those especially with lower incomes, but it's hurt everybody for the most part. But it does sound like there are some divisions in the Trump administration between Larry Kudlow and President Trump, but also Steve Mnuchin has been on board with another round of stimulus checks. So it does sound like most people are leaning for another round of stimulus checks, and at least $1,200 would be the amount. So that's the good news and kind of the bad news that's coming out about the second stimulus check. We really don't know at this point how much it's going to be for sure. We don't know who is going to be eligible. It does sound like the next stimulus package should pass before the August 7th recess. Let's hope that that is the case, and let's hope that it's at least $1,200 and that everyone that was eligible for the first stimulus check is eligible for the second stimulus check. And I'm also hopeful that those that were claimed as dependents on someone else's taxes will also be included in this second stimulus check. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but there have been a lot of proposals that have included that provision because we know that those that were claimed as dependent on someone else's taxes were left out of the first stimulus check. Well, that is my stimulus update for Tuesday, July 14th. Thank you once again so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.